And you are now behind enemy lines, and we made it just under the wire. Hey there, how you doing, America? Gene Baradelli, Ross Galloway here, just hanging out on a lovely Wednesday evening with you all. Glad that you're all here. Ross, what's going on, man?
Gene, I don't know how you do your magic, man. You made it on time. I was sweating a little bit myself just watching you work.
Listen, if we're on time, we're on time. If we're not, we're not. It's all good and gravy to me. As long as we're having fun. Honestly, we've said this before on other shows. This is our therapy. This is our time to vent to each other and just get it all out there, you know?
I relieve my stress by sending Gene videos at 8:58 p.m. for a 9 o'clock start.
Yeah, he loves doing that, by the way. Well, actually, no, this was when you got in early. Let me see what time you got this one in. I got an email at 8:44, so 16 minutes before the show. And around 8:55, he's like, hey, by the way, Gene, I just sent you a video clip. Can you get that ready for the show? It's really, really short. And what am I going to say? I'm going to say no?
Oh, man. My bad.
No, it's not anybody's bad. It's all good, man. Like I said, we're having fun. We're doing our thing. And we're glad that you guys are here with us. And we're getting some people coming in right now. We're glad to see you all here. Whether you're watching on Rumble, whether you're watching on YouTube or the Twitters, we're glad you're here. And while you're here, we hope that you subscribe to the channel, wherever it may be, or follow us wherever you're watching right now. We got a great show planned for you tonight. And the theme of the show really is going through the news from today concerning Donald Trump and the assassination attempts, the fallout from it, and how Democrats just haven't learned how to deal with this situation and how they continue to escalate and continue to incite with their language. And it's gotten to the point where they don't even know it. And it's pretty disgusting to me.
Yeah, I mean, we got 40 days left, Gene. 40 days. I'm literally praying that our guy makes it, right? And not like the way Joe Biden makes it. Like Joe Biden, I don't even think should be president now, and not wishing harm on him. He should resign or be taken out of through the process. But I'm hoping our guy just makes it with all the crap that's been going on and what was revealed today.
And you know what? The beginning of the election cycle, people were saying, we hope Trump survives it. And a lot of us dismissed it. I was one of the people who dismissed it as well. But when you have members of Biden's cabinet, the Biden-Harris administration's cabinet, talking about extinguishing him, whether intentional or not intentional, whatever the case may be, after 2 assassination attempts, you think people would learn how to censor themselves.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think these types of words actually lead to stuff, but if our side was saying right after Kamala Harris got 2 assassination attempts, we need to extinguish her and her followers, right? They'd be all up in arms, and the media would be piggybacking on this. But where the hell is the media now?
Yeah, good question. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Glad that you're here with us and tuned in. I'm happy you made it. Let's talk about this clip. This happened on Morning Joe this morning as we're taping the show. Mika Brzezinski is interviewing the Commerce Secretary, Gina Raimondo, and talking about Donald Trump's comments about abortion and how he says at a rally that he's going to protect women. And clearly this triggers both Mika and the Commerce Secretary. Let's play the clip. So we'll show you what we're talking about.
Here, number one. And number two, what is your response when you hear Donald Trump on the campaign trail saying that he, the man who brags about overturning Roe, and denying life-saving health care to women across America, is a protector of women? How have we gotten here?
I don't know how we've gotten here, but we sure as hell have to get out of here and get Kamala in the White House. I'm a woman. I have a 20-year-old daughter. When I read that, when I saw the protector, it's enraging. It is blood-curdling, and it's BS.
Why would that enrage someone if someone's saying that I pledge to protect women? I guess they just don't like the manner in which he has chosen to do it by returning power rightfully to the states where the federal government overstepped their boundaries. What's the deal here?
First of all, that person is a person of no consequence. My immediate thought as she's speaking is, as a woman, what is a woman? Can you define it? Because the Supreme Court nominee from your side certainly couldn't define it, right? But we'll put that aside for a second. This is the same person, this supposed commerce secretary, who not long ago she said when those job numbers got revised down by 800,000, that she didn't hear about that, and she doesn't believe it because Donald Trump said it, regardless of whether or not it came from the BLS, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, right? So this person is your typical, and I'm going to say it, DEI hire in the Biden administration. Yeah, as a woman, that is your qualification for the job you have, lady. You have no real world qualifications.
She was the former governor of Rhode Island, and
inconsequential. Rhode Island. There's like 4 people there.
If there are any listeners from Rhode Island out there, I apologize for Ross's comments. You guys are consequential. You
listen. Rhode Island knows what it is. All right.
God damn you. Moving on. Anybody wants to put any comments in the chat about Rhode Island and want to defend Rhode Island, I will put you up on the screen. That's clearly a declaration of war by Galloway here.
It not only is it wrong and a lie, it belittles us. We're not that stupid. We know he's lying, and we don't need his baloney telling us he'll protect us. We know the facts of how he feels about women. He's disrespectful to women, putting it mildly, and he's the one that overturned Roe, exactly what you said. For me, when I was the governor of Rhode Island, I was one of the first governors in the country back in 2019 to codify Roe in state statute in Rhode Island. And at the time I did that, I worked with the legislature. It was because he was president and I feared exactly what would happen. And I said that women of Rhode Island would be protected.
And by the way, that's what Donald Trump wants states to do. Make their own decisions about reproductive health care. Bravo, you did exactly what he wanted.
Yeah. Prior to Roe, it was up to the states. Post Roe, it's up to the states. Congratulations, Madam Governor. You did your fucking job.
Exactly right. And by the way, every other aspect of healthcare is managed by states. What? Come on. Are we really this willfully ignorant about, federalism and what powers were reserved by the states for themselves? What powers were delegated to the federal government? Healthcare is one of those powers retained by the states, reserved to the states.
Gene,
it's not like she's reinventing the wheel.
This whole campaign, actually the Democrats since, circa 2022 had been solely focused on one issue, abortion, right? I really hope women aren't this stupid, right? They claim that, they're equal. Okay, if you're equal, how do you get bamboozled on such a stupid issue? Now, am I saying all women are stupid? No. But if you look at poll after poll after poll with the demographic breakdown of people, women still overwhelmingly vote for the Democratic ticket. Why? Is it truly about abortion? It doesn't even make sense, right? Do they understand what happened prior to Roe and, after Roe? Could it be that they can't afford groceries for their families and this is really their issue? When a person, Gene, has to come on TV and say, as a woman, and that is their qualifier to say whatever idiotic thing they're going to say next, to me that disqualifies them.
Hey, Tamara, great to see you. I'm going to put this comment back up because it's too funny. Jeff wants to join your team, Ross. You can read that one. Go ahead, read that one out loud, boy.
JEFF says Governor of Rhode Island is like captain of the T-ball team. Well, listen, I know I said some harsh stuff about Rhode Island, but in the grand scheme of things, they are somewhat irrelevant, right? I mean, what major thing has come out of Rhode Island anytime in the recent past, right? And this, to my people in Rhode Island, I'm not writing all of you off. If you did,
wait, hold on. Let's bring you in for a close up on this one. We want the people to understand your sincerity in your comments about the great state of Rhode Island. Which one is it? I'm losing control of all the buttons here. Hang on. Oh, there it is. There you go. Be sincere this time, please.
To the people of Rhode Island, look, I'm not painting you with a broad brush. I am a little bit, right? But you elected that person to be your governor, right? The same way I feel like New York, man. And I know you're still there, Gene. You guys kind of get what you deserve, right? You got clueless Kathy Hochul, and in the city, you got Mayor Adams, who I think is either going to be indicted or resign tomorrow. Bookmark this. I think I'm going to be right on this one. His clock is ticking, right? When you elect idiots like this to represent you, you fall into the inconsequential and the Fetterman AOC wing of politics.
Yep. Oh, see, one good thing about Rhode Island, they do ghost hunters. So there you go.
There you go.
Let's get back on track. By the way, Tamara, I see you on the Rumble, our first Rumble comment in a while on here. Glad you're on there. Wherever you guys are right now, comment along with us, share the show with your friends, get everybody in here. Let's have a little discussion together about what you're going to see right now from the former governor of Rhode Island, the current Commerce Secretary, Gina Raimondo. It's bad, in my opinion. Let's get to it.
Real protection, stepping up and leading. What he says is the opposite. It's just another lie. Like, how did we get here? Let's extinguish him for good. We have an answer. We have a remarkably talented candidate who is sincere, who's pragmatic, who's open. Let's just get it done.
Let's extinguish him for good. Now, I took it off the screen for a second because I want to show you the follow-up. Mika Brzezinski tries her best and succeeds in covering Raimondo's ass. Watch the expression on her face. She has a micro expression coming up that really tells the story of what's going on in her head. I interpret it as being, oh shit, I just said that got covered up. Watch.
You mean vote him out?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Vote him out.
Did you see that micro expression right there? I'll try to bring it back a little bit and we can all see it again. Just let's hear it.
Who's open. Let's just get it done.
And extinguish, you mean vote him out?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Vote.
The eyebrow raised, the wide eyes. She realizes that she stepped in it.
Gene, as a man, I agree.
What is this nonsense as a man? Just any person that they screwed up would have a similar reaction.
Doesn't it sound absurd if you preface your statement with, well, as a man,
oh,
I have
God.
to agree with you, Jane.
You know what? You might be referencing a video we did earlier in the week with a Kamala Harris surrogate, Kelly Hyman, who created her own little word salad in discussing Kamala Harris's economic plan. I'm going to put that on the replay in the upper right-hand corner of the screen on the YouTube so you can see what that's all about. But yeah, she actually said that during an interview. As a woman, I feel like you're not letting me speak and all that. So yeah, okay, I know where you're going with that now. Cool.
So extinguish him. So
for good.
Yeah.
For good.
By the way, you know why Mika did that? Is because her and her boyfriend,
Morning Joe.
Remember MSNBC so much didn't trust them. Didn't they take them off the air the day after the debate between Biden and Trump?
Yes.
They wouldn't let them analyze it because they just didn't trust them. And now they have to go over the top.
And that's because they were best friends with Joe Biden and saying that he's totally fit, he's mentally stable and all this. He doesn't have a feeble mind, doesn't have a feeble body. He's good, y'all. And then we saw the debate, and then we saw what happened in the aftermath of it, of course. But yeah, Mika Brzezinski was guarding for Gina Raimondo there. Well, when you say extinguish, you don't mean anything but voting him out, right? Good Lord, man.
And you're speaking to the Commerce Secretary. The economy is off the rails, and we're listening to a political analysis. Bitch, tell me what's going on with the economy, right? Tell me what happened with those 800,000 jobs that vanished over the last 12 months, right? She can't do that job. I don't care what she thinks about anything else.
Well, which makes it all the more egregious that someone in the administration that has a job totally unrelated to anything going on in this discussion about abortion rights or anything like that is going off and saying a phrase like extinguish him for good. And we're not supposed to think that, again, I may have to put my tinfoil hat on for this one, but join me, won't you? Is the Biden administration and Democrats in general hoping for a tragedy? Is that why they're having these? Is this a Freudian slip? Is this intentional? Is this just she wasn't thinking? What are we supposed to glean from this?
Well, listen, bring it on, man. Extinguish him for good? I don't think so. Win or lose in November in 40 days. Win or lose. Trump 2028. We start that one up. We ain't going nowhere.
Wait, I thought he said he doesn't want to do that. He's not going to run again. And frankly, I think he said he's not going to run again because he's going to win, and this will be his second term, and that'll be it. Is that what he's saying?
I think you misunderstood what I said. I said win or lose, we doing Trump 2028, motherfucker.
Oh, okay. I did miss that. It's been a long day, all right? It's been a lot of long hours doing the channel, a lot of long hours at work right now. Forgive me if I'm not hip with the Galloway lingo.
You ain't extinguishing nothing.
My bad on that. So we see what's going on here, at least with rhetoric, right? There was some other news concerning these Trump assassination attempts that came out today, actually. And I think it's worth looking at in the context of this rhetoric. And it's the Senate report about, oh, not that one, hang on. Sorry, this one here. The Senate report on the Secret Service's performance in Butler, Pennsylvania. Needless to say, it didn't look so dang good for the Senate. In fact, I have an article here that I'm going to share right now from Jennifer Van Law, one of the friends that we have made along the way, especially at like CPAC and places like that, turned into a really great reporter, a great voice in the conservative movement. Let me see if I can share this up here, see how it looks real quick. Yeah, that looks good enough for me. From Red State, and maybe I'll join it later. Senate report on Secret Service July 13th failures shows that the Keystone Cops would have done a better job. I love the phrasing on that. The Senate preliminary report of its investigation into the U.S. Secret Service's failures related to the July 13th attempted assassination of Donald Trump is out. And in reading through the stunning details, it's difficult to believe that the failures are solely due to incompetence. So what happened? This is what was found in the report, according to Jennifer Van Laar. Essentially, in the lead up to the rally, there was one-way communication going from local law enforcement to the Secret Service and not the other way around. And on the day of the rally, a complete siloing of all efforts and communication. There was no clear chain of command for the Secret Service team, and there were multiple technical equipment failures. We discussed a lot of this in previous shows, Ross, but it looks like the Senate is confirming that they've sifted through the evidence and those suspicions have been realized.
Yeah. Okay. They slipped in some technical issues, right? But there are people in charge of that technology. There was lots of human error involved. And I know we're going to dig into this a little more. But when you have major human error, which human got fired?
Well, I think we're waiting for the Secret Service report on that. Lord knows when that's coming. So the report goes on to say that perhaps the biggest jaw-dropping revelation from this report is the Secret Service's counter-unmanned aircraft system, their drone system, was just not working. The Trump Secret Service detail asked for a Secret Service advanced team for a counter-surveillance unit, and the advanced team made that request of their superiors, but the request was denied. So on the day of the event where the attempt happened, there was one agent with only 3 months' experience with the unmanned system on the ground. The system was inoperable until 4:33, which was after the attempted assassin flew his own drone, which we remember talking about. When he couldn't get the Secret Service drone to work, the agent was forced to do, what was he forced to do? With no backup system, the agent responsible for overseeing that unit called a toll-free 888 tech support hotline. He got Geek Squad, Galloway, to help him troubleshoot the government drone.
Yes. And the drone team, quote unquote, is a counter surveillance team, right? They're supposed to be looking to see if someone's surveilling the event, which had that drone gotten into the sky like it should have, they probably would have detected this guy. You know who did have a counter surveillance team on that same day? Who, for an indoor event not too far away? Jill Biden. Yes. Her counter surveillance team was up and running and working just fine. That seems odd for a few hundred people at an indoor event.
Yeah, absolutely. Also from the report, the July 13th rally was the first time a Secret Service counter-sniper team was assigned to a protectee other than the president, the vice president, or a presidential candidate who had been formally nominated by his or her party. So they just got the sniper team there, and going on into the report, according to the assistant director of the Office of Protective Operations, a decision to assign counter snipers to former President Trump's events occurred sometime in the first week of July. Of the Secret Service personnel interviewed by the committee, nearly all, including the intelligence advance agent and the special agent in charge, the SAC, the head of who was running point from the Pittsburgh field office, said they were unaware of any credible intelligence of a threat. Now, how can that be when there have been reports that the local law enforcement was reporting threats to the Secret Service, specifically this threat? Even though Secret Service agents were aware of an individual around the AGR building with a rangefinder 27 minutes before the shooting, and were notified of an individual on the roof 2 minutes before the shooting, and a counter sniper saw law enforcement running towards the building with guns drawn, Trump still wasn't taken off the stage. So, as we're seeing, failure upon failure upon failure. How does this sort of complete collapse happen? Is it a lack of preparation, Ross? Is it a bad plan? Or again, am I putting the tinfoil hat on and saying that there might be something else afoot here? I don't want to think that, but when you see a cascade of failures like this, how can you not?
Gene, my tinfoil hat has been on for this whole thing, right? Okay, the sniper team. Let's talk about them for a second. Where is the report? Everything I'm reading says that local law enforcement actually fired the first shot at Crooks, and it was not that Secret Service sniper team, right? And will we ever know the truth? The body was cremated like a day later, right? Where's the autopsy report? It must exist. Can't we see it? Who shot him? Did the snipers react? Did they not react? There's supposedly 2 minutes where they knew he was on the roof with a gun, but they knew he was in the area at least 30 minutes prior to that with a rangefinder acting suspiciously. And like you said, Trump was still not only allowed to take the stage, but remain on the stage. And why did the sniper shoot first?
Well, here's the thing as well, and I only have the preliminary statement from the report itself. Let me pull this up here because I want to highlight something on the screen. This is going to be shocking to you, I think. This is from I guess the executive statement of the interim report. It's the executive summary of the interim report. And I want you to look at this line right here. I'm going to try to highlight it. It may be hard to see, but I'm going to read it. This to me is nuts. The U.S. Secret Service counter-sniper team leader saw local law enforcement running towards the AGR building with their guns drawn, just like Galloway said, but did not radio the Trump detail to remove Trump from the stage. I don't know what to say to that.
Gene,
you see the cops running towards a threat, but you don't communicate it down the chain of command?
Just for 1 second, and I'm trying to confirm this. If you look in the chat, our friend Amanda Kohut just broke some news in the middle of our show here.
Oh, hang on a second. I'm going to pull this up. Oh, my goodness. Eric Adams has been indicted. I'm going to look for that right now. Listen, I mean, we'll get to that later on in the show, definitely, but because we had a whole show.
I thought it would come tomorrow. I can't believe it.
You're fucking up my plans, Kohut. Yes, Rick, there were too many points of failure on this. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a quick break for those of you watching this on replay, and I'm going to start vamping and pulling up this Eric Adams indictment news, see what we can glean from it. We're taking a total detour here, folks. Give me a second. Okay, so we are going to look up right now Eric Adams' indictment. This is wild here. I was going to have a whole discussion about
the live feed, and she just tagged you on it.
Oh, okay, great. Hang on, let me see. Let me see right now here. Actually, I'm able to pull it up. You know what? Let's go New York Times. That's a good one to go to because they got some live updates going here. All right. Let me see if I can share the screen now. People, this is breaking news, and this is kind of interesting stuff going on here. Present. We're going to go to our screen share. My goodness. Here we go. Screen share. Eric Adams indicted. Share the screen. Let's read this one together. This is breaking as we're taping the show. Updated 2 minutes ago from the New York Times, Eric Adams is indicted in New York, becomes the first sitting mayor in the People's Republic of New York City to face criminal charges. Let's see
By
what
the
those
way, Gene, did
charges
you know
are.
he was the second black mayor of New York City? He mentioned that earlier today.
Oh, did he? Well, I actually once interviewed the first black mayor, David Dinkins, when I was in college. Very much a gentleman, but that's neither here nor there. Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on federal criminal charges, according to people with knowledge of the matter, and will be the first mayor of New York City to be charged while in office. The indictment is sealed, and it is unclear what charge or charges Mr. Adams will face. For those of you who don't know, Eric Adams, a retired police captain, was elected 3 years ago on a campaign pledge of reducing crime and bringing professionalism and a little bit of swagger to the largest municipal government in the country. But he staffed positions with friends and loyalists, and boy, did that really screw the pooch. We've seen multiple police commissioners resign in disgrace. We just had today David Banks, the school's chancellor, resign in disgrace. We had a top aide and counsel to Eric Adams resign in disgrace. It's been absolutely nuts. It's detailed in the article below here. Earlier this month, federal agents seized phones from numerous top city officials, including a top aide to Mr. Adams, the school's chancellor, and the police commissioner. The commissioner, Edward Caban, and the school's chancellor, David Banks, resigned. Federal authorities has been seizing Adams's electronic devices just days after they searched the Brooklyn home of his chief fundraiser. So there may be some corruption in fundraising here as well. That's usually the low-hanging fruit, Ross, is when you go after the money trail. It seems like federal investigators and the DOJ thrive on financial crimes when it comes to public corruption.
It normally does seem that way, but since we have the tinfoil hats on, and in the wake of the Diddy indictments, I think there's more to this, man. If it was simple campaign finance stuff, I just don't see them seizing so many administration officials from so many different departments and agencies within the, under the umbrella of New York City. Quick thing on Adams, right? Eric Adams is a retired police captain who was the borough president of Brooklyn. And for those of you that are not from the New York City area, the borough president is sort of like your county executive, but with no power. New York City has 5 boroughs or 5 counties, and they elect someone to be their borough president, who basically is in charge of the county, if you will, but they have no real power. Basically, their only power is to appoint people to community boards, and they get a pot of money to do what they will within their own borough. So it's a very fertile ground for corruption, and that's where Eric Adams came from, right? Police captain on a police pension, borough president. Then he became the mayor of the city of New York with hundreds of billions of dollars within their budget, migrants flowing into the city, no bid contracts being handed out hand over fist. This guy wearing $4,000 suits, whenever he's on television on a police pension, it just reeks of some type of corruption. Now, I don't know what the underlying charge is, and I would be curious to see what Amanda and some of our other listeners think that it might be, but it probably involves money. But I'm still holding out that Turkey was like the red herring and the low-hanging fruit as far as foreign influence. It was probably China. And that's no coincidence that they just caught some Chinese spies in the governor of New York's inner circle, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is that earlier today, before this news break, as we've gone live, AOC actually got out in front of this and called on Adams to resign for the good of the city. Automatically, again, the tinfoil hat goes on. What did AOC know was coming down the pike? Do you think she was tipped off and used whatever information she can get from DOJ to make herself look good and to be almost prophetic on this?
Why in the world would AOC start distancing herself from Mayor Adams? She had to be tipped off. Someone told her something.
Well, I just had a devilish thought. And listen, guys, we're vamping here. If you're liking this contemporaneous breaking news aspect of the show, wherever you are, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all the good stuff we're talking about. Shout out to all of our friends on KLRNRadio watching the live feed on the Twitters right now. I see you guys. I hope I can't get into the chat with you, but I hope you can maybe chat with us. Do a little double action, come to YouTube, and not to poach things from Rick. Sorry, Rick. But if you want to get on the chat, that's where you got to be. Either there or Rumble. I can't go to you, unfortunately. But I just had a devilish thought. Is AOC looking at Gracie Mansion in 2025?
It had crossed my mind. New
Well,
York deserves that, actually.
Well, listen, I wrote a story recently about, and it's hopefully going to be up on Newsmax very soon. I might have to update it now. I wrote a story for Newsmax that I submitted about Andrew Cuomo having an eye for Gracie Mansion and how there's been growing whispers with all of this corruption news coming from the Adams camp. There's a discussion right now. I'm leaving Reset the Clock on there. We'll explain that in a second. But we've heard a lot of rumbling from Cuomo's people putting feelers out there for him to run for mayor in 2025, part of this rehabilitation tour that's been going on for a while. Maybe AOC has the same designs. Talk about talk about Sophie's choice. My God, to choose between those two buffoons.
And listen, our friend Amanda is spot on in the chat. She's on fire. Is AOC a cooperating witness?
Absolutely. Well, listen, I do want to go back to this comment here, Reset the Clock. I've left it up on the screen for a while now. Back when we were doing the show back in the day, we had this whole concept on the show of a corruption counter, and we would reset a ticking clock about how many days it's been since the last news of corruption by a state official or a city official or a local official, whatever it may be, to the point where we kept having to reset that clock. We've reset the clock with Eric Adams' administration at least 5 times in the past week. That's how rapid fire this has been for him. And of course, I do want to put out there a normal disclaimer just to cover our ass that an indictment is not a statement of facts. There are no conclusions of facts. We don't even know what the charges are at this point. They're sealed as we're reporting this. There'll probably be something coming out later on. But let's all keep that in mind, that an indictment is usually the strongest statement a prosecutor can offer about the nature of the alleged crime. Other news can come out. Think back to Donald Trump in New York with the allegations there and how they became weaker and weaker. Think about Trump in Georgia, where charges were dropped as time passed. You never know what's going to happen here, but at the same time, this seems to have been building to a crescendo for a really long time. Poor Galloway is stumped right now. I'm sorry, pal. Did I talk too much?
No, I think you're lagging. I don't know if it's that New York Times article drawing too much bandwidth, but
screw it then. I'm going to take it down. We don't need to read it. We broke the news.
That's it. So I heard most of what you said there, and I'll just offer this. I'm not a lawyer, right? And I don't really care about covering our asses. Cover your ass for sure. Come and get me. I'm going to say what I want to say. This wasn't some federal government special prosecutor on a political hit list mission from the Biden administration, although he might be on, this might be tied to Biden in some way, to be honest with you.
I was about to say, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Usually, especially in New York, the Southern District, they don't really play around with indicting you on the federal side, without being pretty damn sure that they got something there. This isn't Alvin Bragg or those flunkies in Brooklyn, right? These are federal prosecutors that at the top of their game in the Southern District of New York. This isn't Jack Smith and the cabal of these, unconstitutionally appointed special, prosecutors running around.
All right. It's another tinfoil hat moment coming at you right now. Eric Adams has been a vocal critic of the Biden administration, especially when it came to the influx of migrants that we've seen over the past year and a half. And the specific criticism has been against the Biden-Harris administration about not providing enough resources for the city to deal with the migrant crisis, including clearing job authorizations from migrants quick enough. So Eric Adams was not given a speaking role at the DNC, which I assume was as a result of this. So could it be that because Adams was a vocal critic, again, tinfoil hat time, I have nothing to back this up with, but could it be that Eric Adams really pissed off the Biden-Harris administration, kind of showed them up during the whole migrant crisis, made them look bad, and somebody escalated this investigation to where it would break right around this time? Tinfoil hat. I just don't know.
Listen, pass the hat over here, Gene. Did he attend a Diddy freak-off party?
Oh, Jesus.
He gave him the key to the city, right? Amanda dropped that in the chat. There's a nice picture of him and Adams doing the heart with the key to the city, and he's driving around Midtown Manhattan, hanging out the window like a jackass, right? I don't know. $4,000 suits, running around New York City going to clubs.
Rick is with me with the tinfoil hat stuff, man. He's right there with me with it. Thanks for going on this ride with me, everyone. I really appreciate it. Wherever you are, of course, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all the good stuff we like to talk about here. Let's get more people in to talk about this because, as Amanda said, there's a lot of cards falling right now. So this is the time to actually put out that speculation. News is just broken. We don't know what's going on. It's sort of delicious to talk about these possibilities at this point. This is wild. I mean, I like being live and seeing this stuff. I was not prepared for this. I had a whole presentation planned out talking about, the Trump attempted assassination and the escalation in rhetoric. And we were going to talk about that bounty letter, for God's sakes. But here we are now talking about the People's Republic of New York City once again, pal.
Well, at least he had the most chocolate administration in New York City history. We'll see how far that goes in these hearings.
Well, listen, I'm a grifter at heart. I just mentioned People's Republic of New York City. I gotta put this out there. We got merch, y'all. we're breaking news and we're selling stuff. Behind Enemy Lines merchandise is just on our store now, shop.buffoonoftheweek.com. Among that as well is our People's Republic of New York City line of goodies. After I'm done with this little slideshow here for Behind Enemy Lines, check this puppy out. This is my People's Republic. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to bring it really close to the screen. My People's Republic of New York City glass. Designed it myself. It's on tumblers. It's on t-shirts. It's on sweatshirts. Check it out. Shop.buffoonoftheweek.com. And of course, as I've said before, like, share, and all the good stuff that you're doing throughout the show here. My God, I wish I had a banner to deal with Eric Adams. I'm going to have to put it in post, I guess.
So,
yes, Amanda, it's not is it a backwards P? Yes, no, it's not a backwards P. It's a backwards E, Amanda, on the swag.
I thought they do backwards threes.
Well, no, it's look, I mean, I got to turn it the right way here. See, it's a backwards E, and it's a backwards K as well. So,
for those of you who ever drove around Brooklyn, especially the Brighton Beach neighborhood, you see a lot of backwards E's and threes and K's.
Shout out to South Brooklyn, baby. Shout out to Southeast Brooklyn, where a certain Mr. Galloway used to call home.
Gene, and maybe someone in the chat will know the answer to this. My New York City charter knowledge has diminished over the years. I really don't
Public advocate Jumaane Williams is the answer that you're looking for, my friend.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Jumaane would take over?
Yes, he's the succession in the People's Republic of New York City is mayor, public advocate.
Jesus.
Public advocate is Jumaane Williams. You think New York was in trouble before.
And does he finish the term or does he hold it till a special election?
That I would have to look up, but Jumaane Williams would be the next in line. I know Jumaane quite well. At least I did know him when I was living in Brooklyn. We both ran for office our first time in 2009. He was running for a city council seat that was adjacent to the one that I was running for. The difference was he won, I lost. And since then, Jamaane's career has really taken off. And he is the public advocate. Public advocate, by the way, is not really a position that can be defined. It's a person that's supposed to advocate for the people to the mayor. So to be the people's voice to the mayor, as if, city council wasn't enough. And somehow is second in succession right now.
Yeah. So now, what's your take, man? Does if it's an indictment, especially if it's what Amanda dropped in the chat, like if it's something like racketeering or like a RICO type of thing, I can't foresee him finishing out this term. Like, does he resign tomorrow, tonight? What happens?
Well, stupid question. Why can't he finish out the term? It's not like this trial is going to happen before November of 2025, right? Why can't he finish out the term?
Of course, as a Democrat, he could finish out his term. I mean, Bob Menendez didn't resign until he was convicted. Right? Only Republicans do stupid things like get rid of George Santos on an allegation before he was convicted. Don't make me go back to that, Gene.
We did the right thing there. That is a hill I will die on.
But does Adams do the right thing and step down, or does he ride this out? I don't know, to be honest. There's too many people had their cell phones seized in the upper echelons of New York City government, right? If it's racketeering or a RICO, some kind of criminal conspiracy, that implies that it's not just Adams taking a first-class flight to Turkey or getting a campaign finance violation thrown at him, right? This might be bigger, and him and some head honchos may have to go sooner rather than later.
Well, let's give you a preliminary answer to that, going back to the New York Times story. New York Times reporting Emma Fitzsimmons, Mayor Adams has insisted in recent days that he will not resign. If he changes his mind, Jumaane Williams, the public advocate, will become acting mayor and set a date for a special election. So that's the answer to that question. I don't think Adams resigns. I think he sticks it out.
I think you're wrong, Gene. I think he's gone. When we opened up the show prior to any of this, I predicted an indictment and a resignation tomorrow, and I think that's still on the table.
All right, listen.
Came early. Christmas comes early sometimes. He'll be gone by tomorrow. And catch up on the chat there. Amanda's on fire. She's our inside hook right now.
Yeah. Do we want to get Amanda? Do me a favor in the chat. Let me know if you're able to jump on real quick with us, because. Okay, so Joe Borelli is a councilman from Staten Island, tweeted and then deleted that Adams will surrender tomorrow. That's clear, and that he's resigning at 4:45 tomorrow. Very interesting that was tweeted and deleted. I'm going to see if I can find that somewhere. I'm going to go onto the Twitters right now. Man, all this real-time stuff gets me stressed.
I don't think he can survive, Gene. There's no way he can run the city government under this type of if it's what we think it is. If it is a BS campaign finance violation, which I can't see it being that, right? Them seizing phones from so many high-ranking officials, then yeah, maybe he rides it out and argues the campaign finance stuff. But if it's something bigger and the feds in the Southern District of New York are coming after you, he's not surviving and he's not sticking around.
I certainly hear that. I'm going to share something right now that I found. There's Brad Lander, the comptroller of the People's Republic of New York City, put out a statement just recently. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Where is it? Where did I put it? Here it is. Let's share that right now. Brad Lander saying, first and foremost, this is a sad day for New Yorkers. Trust in public institutions, especially City Hall, is essential, blah, 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 blah. Mayor Adams, like all New Yorkers, deserves due process, the presumption of innocence, and his day in court. However, it is clear that defending himself against serious federal charges will require a significant amount of time and attention needed to govern this great city. The most appropriate path forward is for him to step down so that New York City can get the full focus of that its leadership demands. At this urgent moment, the city leaders must focus on how we can best enable steady governance so that New York City can move forward and thrive.
What?
Why they're circling. The sharks are circling, my friend.
Yeah. He doesn't listen, Gene. He don't deserve nothing. All right. Where was he when Donald Trump was getting indicted 98 times or whatever it was? Right? No. Adams gets no benefit of the doubt. In my view, no presumption of innocence. Sorry, Democrats. Those are the rules you set. I'm following your rules. He's got to resign.
So
I don't expect you to agree. I'm just saying what I feel.
No, listen. The X-rated news from Emily Fitzsimmons from the New York Times got me thinking. If we're not stuck with Jumaane Williams for a long time, I'm okay with a special election. But what's going to end up happening is there will be a special election set, presumably in a couple of months from now, maybe December, maybe January. And then there'll be another election in November where you'll have an interim incumbent with all the power that comes along with it, and a whole new slate of contenders. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, the People's Republic of New York City is is one of those ranked choice cities. So what ends up happening is you don't vote by party because there really isn't a Republican Party or any opposition party in the People's Republic of New York City, hence the name. And you vote down the line based upon first preference, second preference, third preference, and down the line. And you slowly eliminate everybody, and everybody gets the votes ranked up until you get to a winner. I'm not so sure that there's going to be much stability in a system where you're going to be doing that. There's all kinds of news and information coming in. I just want to report on this real quick. The New York Working Families Party, who are the left of Mao, by the way, calls on Adams to resign. Jessica Ramos, a state senator who is running for mayor, stopped just short of calling for him to resign, saying A new day for our city is long overdue. I believe other mayoral candidates, Zelnor Myrie, a state senator from Brooklyn, called on Adams to resign. Man, this is just breaking. One of Adams' goals was to be the first black mayor to be reelected to a second term because David Dinkins was not reelected. He actually beat Rudy Giuliani back in, I want to say, 1989, and then lost in 93 to Giuliani. So it's looking like the second black mayor in New York City history may not get a shot to be reelected to that office.
What's even more delicious, Gene, is when Adams was first coming on the scene, running for mayor, and you had Andrew. What's the Andrew who called for universal basic income?
Andrew Yang.
Yang was in there. Adams was like being bantied about as a future contender for the White House one day. So this is even more satisfying to me that this guy's going down in flames. And I do want to just say this because you mentioned ranked choice voting. That's otherwise known as Democrats get to vote more than once, okay? A lot of people think ranked choice voting is a good thing. All it really means is Democrats stack the deck and they get to vote more than once. It's not one person, one vote. It's Democrats get to rank all their Democrats in their favorite order so that if a Republican happened to get on the ballot running against 5 Democrats, there's no way to win with less than 50%, which you would win if all those candidates were on the ballot. Then whoever won with a plurality would be elected, right? But when you eliminate that in a place like New York, where there's hardly any Republicans, you just give Democrats more votes. They get more opportunities to vote.
Absolutely. More speculation from MSDNC. A reporter there is speculating that the indictment is for taking money, we said financial crime, from 6 different foreign agents. What are the odds that one of those is going to be China?
It's a guarantee. Take it to the bank. Turkey was the one they leaked out there to put pressure on them. It didn't work. China. All roads lead to China.
I think it's pretty much a lock as well. We've heard the story about Andrew Cuomo and having a deep operative in the executive suite in Albany named Linda Sun. Allegedly, there's going to be a federal trial on that. Adams, according to Amanda, is just killing it. She can't come on the show because she's not feeling well enough to talk, but Amanda's saying that Adams put out a statement that he is innocent and that he is a target. Maybe he's wearing the tinfoil hat that I was wearing a few minutes ago.
Well, if he's a target, then they're after him, right? He's not a witness. He's a subject. I'm not saying he's guilty necessarily in the legal sense, right? But that statement doesn't help him. That I'm innocent, but I am the target of this investigation. All right, but they got your phone and your iPad and your police commissioner's phone and lots of other high-ranking people's phones. They know who you were talking to, where you were through geofencing, and probably who you took money from. And why is the most important. Why did you take that money?
It's all great questions, but doesn't everybody always say, I'm innocent when charges initially come out? This is no big surprise here.
Yeah, well, maybe. But how much do you want to bet, Gene, tomorrow he resigns and says, I need to spend more time with my family? Is he married? I don't even know if he is.
I honestly don't know. Let's get the statement up from Adams. I keep pushing the wrong button here. Come on, Baradelli, get your shit together. This is being reported by Yashar Ali on the Twitters, reporting from the New York, giving us a New York Post report. I always knew that if I stood my ground for New Yorkers, that I would be a target, and a target I became. If I am charged, I am innocent. Oh, God, this is preemptive. If I am charged, we're hearing that you are charged. If I am charged, I am innocent, and I will fight this with every ounce of my strength and spirit. The Post says that Adams is expected to turn himself in early next week. So any talk about a resignation coming soon doesn't look like that's going to happen. It looks like Adams is going to perp walk next week, not anytime later this week.
Do we get the mugshot is my first question. And question 2 is, does he come out and endorse Trump next week after this?
Well, maybe he feels a little bit of the medicine that Trump has been facing this whole time. I don't know. But certainly interesting what's happening here. Okay, I just saw a comment from Rick Robinson. Screw you. I'm speaking contemporaneously and extemporaneously. Lay off me, pal. Yes, I used the wrong word, and frankly, I don't care. It's been a long freaking day. All right. God damn it. Rick, if you want to jump on and talk to us, let me know. We can get you up in here as well. Man,
it's hard to monitor like the Twitter and everything else while this is going on.
Well, thank God we got Amanda Kohut, our really, really good friend, handling this for us. Okay, Rick, keep an eye out in your Facebooks. I'm going to send you the invite link there. Give me a second here. This will be fun. We get a little bit of a party. Let me get Yak up in here, pal.
Oh God.
Oh God, no.
We only got like 8 minutes left, so if you're gonna do it, this is the time.
Well listen. Do you want to? We can go overtime. I don't care either way.
Let's get him on.
What do you say?
Get him on. I want Yak's take on this. Didn't he vote for Adams?
I have no clue, but
I think he did. He was heading up the.
Okay, Rick Robinson. It is sent to Rick Robinson. You know what that means. And we'll get you up here as soon as you log in. I'm gonna give Yak a call on the phone first, see if he's available. Let's see how quickly he picks up. I guarantee you he picks up first or second ring, right?
Oh, he's gonna pick up. He headed up Jews for Adams, I think, in that last cycle.
Did he? No, he didn't.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe that.
What was that neighborhood he was from? I remember seeing.
Oh, he's from Borough Park, which is
a
very conservative Jewish enclave in Brooklyn. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to get him on the phone, put him on speaker here. So let me know if you can hear this.
Yes, we can. For those of you guys who don't know, Yak is a character. I can't wait to get him on.
Hey, Gene.
You up?
Yup.
Get on a computer. You saw what happened with Adams?
Yeah, there's an indictment coming for the mayor.
Yep.
Dare you?
All right, listen. Go on Facebook. I'm sending you a link. Get on here. Bye. I'm just pulling everyone in here. Give me a second to copy that. Is Rick down there yet? Rick is not there yet. Hurry your ass up, Mr. Robinson, please.
Oh,
We're burning daylight here.
Bro, you just ruined Yak's high.
I don't care. Listen, we're having fun. Let's share the fun a little bit here. I just sent him the link. Hopefully he gets here on time. My goodness. Hey, this is live, guys. Maybe I should change the description of the show or something while I'm here and doing it. But man, when news breaks, it breaks fast, pal. This is we're back in the thick of it again. We used to do this sort of stuff, and they pulled us back in.
Just while you're waiting, Gene, so when he mentioned that article you read where he said he planned on turning himself in next week, was this post-indictment where he wrote that?
Oh, well, that was reported by the New York Post. And I found it on Yashar Ali's Twitter feed. So...
But if the news just broke that he was indicted tonight, or they just released it tonight, then he must have known.
Or, tinfoil hat, he had a prepared statement knowing that something was going to be coming down the pike. He didn't know it was an indictment necessarily, which is why he said, if I am charged, I am innocent, thinking that he might be charged. And that's what I think that is. Oh, boy. Good morning, Mr. Robinson. It looks like you just got out of bed for us. We appreciate you coming on. How you doing?
No, actually, it's just, I've been working all day, and I had to do this from my phone. Otherwise, it was going to screw up the audio of me running your feed. So.
Oh, okay, that's right. KLRN people, what up?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Let me put on a hat to kill my bedhead. I didn't realize how bad it was.
Oh, you look good. Hang on. I'm going to put on a hat too. Give me a second.
Jesus Christ.
We'll all wear hats. Here we go.
Here we go.
There you go.
At least now I don't have bedhead anymore. Besides, it's in my merch store. It's a Weirdos for Trump hat. So.
Oh, I like that. We got to get that in our store as well. We got to do a little cross marketing here. All right. So Rick Robinson, KLRN Radio. You're all over the place. You're a writer on Twitchy as well. What do you think about all this? Surprising? Not surprising? What's your initial take?
Surprising that it's gone this far. Yes, because, when's the last time you saw a Democrat indicted for anything other than, the Mexican guy? You're saying?
Well, Menendez, Menendez.
Yeah, but
other than the guy with gold bars in his pocket, yeah.
well, yeah, I mean
That's a
that
weird
one was kind of obvious though. This one, I mean, honestly, like him realizing that they're going through his stuff the day that he's going to talk to people about immigration was kind of the tipping point for me, because I'm just like, okay, so obviously guy has pissed off the wrong people and they are coming after him now, because this is the most Gestapo-like administration I have ever seen in my lifetime. They have weaponized everything, and now they're coming after their own, which should terrify everyone.
So, Rick, what do you think the underlying charge is going to be? You think it's a first-class ticket to Turkey that they were initially going after him for, or something more serious?
I mean, with as much as they have subpoenaed and all the phones they've gotten to, it may have started with that whole first-class ticket to Turkey thing, but I don't think it's going to end there. I think they're about to stack the deck on this poor guy.
I think it goes back a lot further than the Turkey trip. I think it goes back to before he was mayor and running for mayor. And I think it goes back to who was bundling for Eric Adams, bundling donations, and who may have gotten paid off of those donations and things like that. I think he may have taken donations from out of country actors, different state actors. It got washed or laundered through an intermediary that was bundling donations, and then the donations went in under the bundler's name, who was probably a close friend of Eric Adams, because Eric Adams is really, you want to call it crony politics, he hires his friends, but it's also a sign of loyalty. You may think of it that way as well. But I think it goes back to bundling for the first campaign, and that the government had to sort of go through all the tangle of the mess of campaign donations. And I'm sure the New York State Campaign Finance Board only put in certain information like the bundler's name, or maybe it's a super PAC's name, and it wasn't reported properly, but they're going to allege that Adams knew about the scheme and what was going on. That's my take on this whole thing.
And let me just jump in for a second, Gene, and you might know the answer to this. I'm assuming when Adams ran for borough president and for mayor that he participated in the New York City Campaign Finance Board's matching funds program. I'm assuming he did. And for those of you guys who don't know what that is, there is a threshold limit to where the city of New York, you taxpayer, you fools, will match whatever he raises. I think it was up to 10 times the amount last time I checked for whatever he raises, but only up to a certain level, right? So when you have a bundler, let's say the level is $700, and then the city will match 10-1 on that, whatever you raise. Let's say a really rich person wants to give you $7,000. You can't get all that match, so you divide it up and do straw donors, right? You got 10 people to give you $700 each, and now you get matched 10-1 on all of those individual donations, right? So there's a lots of room for corruption, both when he was borough president and here. That would be a city violation, but if he's taking money from overseas, I could see the federal government getting involved here.
Well, I mean, all I'm going to say is all he did was take a page from Biden's book, but he got bit instead.
So while you guys are talking about all this, I'm looking up some campaign finance board information. Let me see if I can get this up on the screen. Give me a second.
While you're doing that, Gene, I agree with Amanda. She says that bundle stuff seems, too small time for this. Like my gut is telling me she's right.
Not when I show you these numbers. Not when I show you these numbers, my friend, because I don't think it's that small time. Let me go back to share screen here. It's this one here. I'm going to share it up. It may be a little too small for you guys to see. This is Adams 2025, by the way. This is Eric Adams from Mayor 2025 Campaign Finance Board. Monetary contributions, $4,321,663. That does not sound small time to me. Of that money, $4 million and change is private funds received. Disbursements are virtually nil, about $800,000. But the thing that interests me a lot here, and I'm going to see if I can share another screen here, is that there are intermediaries that Eric Adams is using. So we got to stop this screen share here. I'm going to go to this other screen now. He's using intermediaries to help fundraise him in 2025. And one name jumps out at me when I look at this. And that, Mr. Galloway, can you see the names on the screen right now? Do you see the one second from the bottom?
No, I cannot.
I can't.
Max Rose, the former congressman from Staten Island, a Democrat from Staten Island. He goes on MSDNC a lot, who Nicole Malliotakis beat back in 2022. Max Rose is an intermediary for Eric Adams. And I also see a gentleman by the name of Arthur Goldstein, who works for a big government election law firm called Davidoff Hutcher, who also is an intermediary. Looks like he brought in about 12,000, not a lot. Max Rose brought in the most of any intermediary, 41,000 for Eric Adams 2025. Listen, we're just speculating at this point. I'm not going to say exactly. I don't think we can say exactly what's going on here. But clearly the government thinks something happened. I'm going to see if I can find Eric Adams 2021. Maybe that'll be able to tell us more.
And I mean, the only reason why I think the feds would get involved with something like this, which is wholly a local issue pretty much, is if there was foreign influence, right? That would be the only way. Like if Max, I'm not saying he did this, but like if one of his intermediaries was washing money from China, they start early, right? Tim Walz took lots of shady trips to China while he was, ascending the ladder in politics, and now he's running for vice president. The Biden family got lots of money from foreign countries as he was working his way up through the ranks and became president. Right? Adams at one point in time had a bright future, and they thought he would eventually run for president. Could it be that the foreign powers that be were trying to get their hooks into him early? Quite possibly.
Oh, of course it was. But all right, so one thing before I jump, because we've got another show starting in a couple minutes. So whatever sounds like you guys might be going over, so we'll rerun you guys tomorrow in your entirety. But I would like to point out something since you attacked me in the chat. I was correcting my own typo, not your grammar, sir.
I don't even care. I said
Rick,
what
you gotta
I
keep
said.
Gene honest. I love it.
I said what I said, and that's all it matters.
No, what I was answering your first question, or somebody asked if Eric Adams was married, so I quoted people.com, who said no, but he was in a long-term relationship per people.com, and I spelled it PRE. So then I did asterisk PER, and then you're like, I don't care what I said, you bastard.
Like I said, it's been a long freaking day. All right, I get it. You don't know how to spell yourself.
You know what this is, right? World's smallest violin, brother. Playing My Heart Bleeds for You.
Get the fuck out of here. Just go. Just go. But before you
Forget about it. Get the fuck out of here.
But before you go, tell everybody about KLRN Radio, where they can find you, where they can listen. This man, Rick Robinson, is the hardest working man in independent conservative media, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between. Check him out. Tell him how to find you.
Actually, I'm a workaholic, and my last meeting was forever ago. But you can find me at RowdyRick73 on most social media platforms. You can follow along with our station at KLRN Radio and our new news arm at Digital Beacon US. You can find me here in just a moment on the Rick and Orty Show live on KLRN Radio. And as for the rest of it, check the schedule, because if I keep talking much longer, Gene's going to give me the hook, because I have a list of like 12 things I do every day.
Which is phenomenal. Hey, listen, we might be getting done here in a little bit. Shoot me a link if you need me to talk to you guys about the breaking news and give you a little backfill from the People's Republic of New York City. All right?
Sure. Yeah. All right, cool.
All right. Be gone, motherfucker.
By the way, wave bye to your 121 listeners on KLRN Radio X.
Hey, listen. We love you guys so much, and listen, you're here for us every single freaking week. Thank you so much, Rick, for all that you do for us, man.
Take care, guys. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, man. Be good. But be gone. All right. That's cool. Listen, they don't come up on my listener chart. We have a lot of listeners popping in and out here, but to the 120 of you on KLRN, get ready for Rick and Orty. They're going to be coming at you real soon. We'll continue on a little bit more here. We'll do one more quick turnaround in the news, and then I think it's final thought time. What do you think, pal?
Yeah, I think we got to wrap this up. We're out of like vamping stuff because they're not releasing much information on this. We're going to have a lot more next week, I'm guessing.
Yeah, right now it's just more people calling on Adams to resign. Scott Stringer, the former controller, says there is zero chance the wheels of the government will move forward from this full steam. John Liu, New York State Senator, joined in the calls for Eric Adams' head. New Yorkers need a mayor who is able to devote full time and full energy. And I think this is a good spot to shut it down. But you know what, pal? Before we shut it down, we had final thoughts, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're on now.
My final thought is in a question form. Does Kamala Harris call on him to resign and get street cred for doing so? I don't know. Let's see.
So, real quick, thank you guys for hanging out with us. As always, like, share the show with your friends, subscribe to the channels wherever you're watching. This, to me, is not only bad news for Eric Adams, it's bad news for the People's Republic of New York. Because in times of crisis, people find opportunity. And I've been thinking right now, as far as opportunity goes, the stars are aligning for an Andrew Cuomo for mayor campaign. He can raise a lot of money really quickly for a special election, should there be a need for it. And he can keep that money train moving for a general election in a few months after that. I think that's bad for New York. The man was responsible, in my opinion, for 15,000 nursing home deaths. We've seen news of his appearance before Congress at the House Special Select Subcommittee on the coronavirus. I think the path has been cleared thanks to the federal government here. Hey, Trader Todd, how you doing? Good to see you. And I wish you would have commented before this. We could have had a lot more fun because we're wrapping things up. But yeah, I think that the stars are aligning for Eric Adams, and that's bad news for the People's Republic of New York City. But it could be good news for us because we got merch that says People's Republic of New York City on it. Go check it out at shop.buffoonoftheweek.com. That's my final thought right there.
Just real quick. So are you saying that the hero that New York City needs is actually AOC?
I'm saying what Ross Galloway has been saying for years now, but I think it's finally here. New York City is doomed. It's doomed. It's done. It's over with. I think the city is going into its 30 years of darkness phase that it hasn't seen since the 70s. And who knows what it's going to take to pull it out for them. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, let's boogie, man. I'm dying to get online and see what's going on.
Yep. Oh, wait. We got one last comment coming in here. I just want to make sure if there's anybody saying what up here. That's a good way to end it right there. Amanda Coa. We are in an alternate reality now. We are in the upside down, ladies and gentlemen, all folks in between. But we're in it together. So thank you so much for showing up with us behind enemy lines. Yeah. Him too. Folks, we're going to shut this sucker down, right, Galloway?
Shut it down, Gene. Let's get
all right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in between, thanks for tuning in for this totally messed up show. We had it planned out. I promise you we had it planned, but the news cycle had other positions. So thanks for tuning in. On behalf of myself and my partner, Ross Galloway, we are out of here. Now play our motherfucking anthem, baby. Yeah, let's.
We're not allowed, not without electoral.
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear?